Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. I hope you are having a great day. In today's stories, OP and her husband agree that she won't take his last name, but her in-laws have another idea and do something unbelievable. And OP, her husband and her mother-in-law don't agree on the baby's name, and since they are against her, OP starts to wonder if she's the one in the wrong here. But is she? Am I the idiot for not taking my father-in-law's last name after getting married? Hi all, I got married to my husband 1 year ago, and I am still wondering if I'm the idiot. Before we got married, my husband and I talked, and agreed that I could keep my current last name. It never occurred to me that I should tell anyone of our decision to not change my last name. At our wedding, the pastor announced us as Mr. John and Mrs. Jane, fake names for anonymity. No last name was announced, but I guess I did mention to my new sister-in-law that I was keeping my name. I'm not sure if she told my in-laws intentionally to cause conflict, or if she actually didn't realize I hadn't told them. Anyways, once we got back from our honeymoon and finished moving into our new house, my husband's parents invited us over. What I thought was going to be a nice first visit as husband and wife, quickly turned into a fight. My father-in-law said he had to have a serious conversation with me, and he began talking about how great and wonderful his last name is, and how people will automatically respect me in his community, just because I would have the same name as him. Calmly as I could, I was so upset at this point I could hardly talk. I told him my reasons for not wanting to change my name. 1. It's complicated and expensive to change IDs and such. 2. My current last name is unique, I've never met another person outside of family with it. 3. My home business and degree were established under my current name. None of these reasons were good enough for him. He replied, well, other daughter-in-law changed her name, and she has the same degree as you. And then mother-in-law said it didn't cost her any money to change her name, but that was 40 years ago, things have changed. I said, I don't feel that I further need to justify my decision to you, since you're not listening or understanding my perspective. Now, father-in-law says I am insulting him by rejecting his name, and all his friends are going to suspect something is wrong, and that I am making a mistake, and that no one will respect me. At this point, I am full on crying, and all I could do was stand and say I am going home. As we are walking out, father-in-law stands up and throws his hands up in a surrendering gesture, saying he's just trying to have a conversation. I think I could be the idiot for 2 reasons here. 1. For not publicly announcing my intentions to keep my maiden name, and 2. For walking out mid-conversation with my new in-laws. OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I did not announce my intention to keep my maiden name to my in-laws before the wedding, and now they are extremely offended, and there is tension between us now during any interaction. I feel that if I told them earlier, we may have avoided such conflict. OP, give us more info in the comments. I realize it's important to him. That's why I thought I was a-hole, cause I didn't tell my father-in-law about not changing my name. I don't necessarily want independence, but I want to be recognized as my own person. Not American, but in my country it can be hard to get certain IDs if your birth certificate doesn't match what its current name is. So that was another reason I had for wanting to keep it. I've realized it's impossible to please them. I would love to pick a new name with my husband, but he's not on board with that idea. Then a comment asks OP where her husband was when all of this happened. She says, he was right beside me, he was quiet until we left. But I was too upset to talk to him after we left. I think he must have been shocked, or something, that his parents would confront us in such a manner. Or there is a simpler and awful reason why your husband didn't do anything to stop his dad, because he agrees with him. Let's be clear, you are not the idiot, the idiots here are your in-laws, and everyone who agrees with them, including your husband. And if it turns out that he really doesn't agree with his parents, and this was all an ambush planned by your in-laws only, to try to force you to change your last name, he is still the idiot for not standing up for you. I don't care if he is afraid of his father, or what kind of relationship they have, he was a complete idiot and bad husband. And he still is, since this situation has been going on for basically a year. You have no need to justify to these people why you don't want to change your last name. You don't want to change because you don't want to. It's that simple, and that is reason enough. You don't need to keep giving explanations. It is your name, your identity, and if they feel offended by it, that's their problem, and for the love of God, stop trying to please these people. They have no respect for you. Also, I really feel sorry for you. You are in a family that is totally sexist, that expects you to do what they want they say, and believe in what they believe, and unfortunately I don't think that will stop with your last name. It will continue in other aspects of your life, your marriage, raising your children, etc. So no, you are not the idiot, but you are in a family full of idiots, married to an idiot. And I don't know what you can do to improve this situation. Since you intend to stay in this family, I can only wish you good luck and hope that you stick to your decisions. And what do you guys think about this situation? What would you do in OP's place? What do you think about OP's husband's lack of action? And what would you do if you were ambushed like this? Don't forget to leave your thoughts below. Now let's read what the comments have to say about all this. Not the idiot, at all. It's your name, no one gets to tell you what it should or shouldn't be. I'd say if anyone is disrespecting other people's names, it's your father-in-law for not thinking your name is as good as his. The fact that he was so rude in his expression of his opinion only further proves you are not the idiot for walking out and avoiding any more conflict, as most people would have done much worse. Thank you for your thoughts. I never considered that he was disrespecting my name, but it makes sense. It was your husband's job to handle this. He failed. Yes, a brand new marriage, and her husband failed the very first test. He should not have been quiet. He should not have let you get to the point of tears. That's insane. There is zero reason you should be crying about your damn name. F that, F your father-in-law. I would refuse to step foot in their house, or to speak to him until your husband has stepped up, set his father straight, and your father-in-law apologizes to you. You have a huge husband problem here. Not the idiot. You in-laws are nuts. They don't get a vote. It's none of their business. Your husband should be setting them straight, telling them that their behavior is ridiculous, and that they need to apologize to you or go away. I wouldn't have anything to do with them. Who needs people like that in their life? Thank you. I have since talked to my husband and he realized, belatedly, that he should have spoken up. Okay, he realized he should have intervened, but has he done anything about this situation since then? That's what we want to know. And what do you guys think? Do you agree with the comments? And do you think husband did something about it? Don't forget to leave your comments about this situation down below. Oh, and I hope you are enjoying the video so far. If so, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications to know when a new video is out. Now let's go to the next story. Am I the idiot for not telling my husband I went into labor? I, 32, female, have 3 kids, K, 12, female, L, 4, male, and I just gave birth to my beautiful baby girl Valerie. My husband and I have been married 5 years and I love him, but he's a little bit of a mama's boy. My mother-in-law hates me. I grew up in a richer neighborhood and my parents left me with quite a lot of inheritance money when they passed, about $13 million in assets. Mother-in-law, however, was a single mother with 2 sons and had a lot of trouble just paying for basic needs. She worked her way up and I think she is very strong. She doesn't like me and thinks I'm pretentious, because apparently I had everything handed to me. Well, when I got pregnant with Elle, we decided to name him Luke, after my husband's father who died when my husband was only 3. Mother-in-law was through the roof when we told her, but ever since I fell pregnant again with Valerie, she has been adamant that we would name her Francine after her late grandmother. My husband wants to as well, but I don't. Instead, I wanted to name her Valerie, and not just because I like the name but also because when I was 17 the song Valerie by Amy Winehouse came out and me and my family would sing it all the time. At family gatherings it was always first on the speaker, car rides, and just in general it was basically our song. Well, my older sister and my parents passed away in a house fire 3 years ago, and I miss them terribly. We were all a very close family, so it hit my and my younger sister, 27, very hard. When I suggested this to my husband and mother-in-law, they actually got mad at me, because they wanted it to be Francine. I suggested we name it Valerie with the middle name Francine or Francine with the middle name Valerie, but they weren't happy with either. During my last month of pregnancy my husband has become more angry at me. I finally snapped and said that I wasn't going to name my child an ugly name that I don't like for the sake of a woman that doesn't even like me. He said that I was being unbelievable and that I had insulted his strong independent mother. I immediately apologized, but he left to his mother's house. 2 days later I couldn't reach him at all, and on the third day I went into labor. Kay kept saying she would text my husband and I told her not to bother. After hours of labor and awful pain, I gave birth to my baby girl and named her Valerie, with Diane as the middle name. Diane was my mother's name. About 2 hours after I gave birth, my younger sister was able to reach mother-in-law to get the message to my husband. When they came in my husband was raging and yelling at me, calling me a pretentious backstabbing witch, and mother-in-law was more upset about the name. I think this might be the end of my marriage, but we can still change her name if we really wanted to. So am I the idiot? Should I change the name? Okay, I need a minute to catch a breath. Where do I start? I usually don't say this at first, because there's usually 2 sides to the story. But, divorce, divorce, divorce. Who the hell comes into a maternity ward screaming and cursing his own wife? And because of a name? A name? What the F? Your husband is insane, your mother-in-law is insane, leave him and take your children away from this insanity. I normally try to understand both sides of the situation. Normally I would say something like, it is not worth it naming the child with a name that both parents do not agree with, that they can find another name that both like, that naming the baby with a chose that your husband is so against it, can appear as a form of lack of respect for him as a father. But after his actions, F him. And his mother. Mother-in-law has no right to meddle and choose the names of your children. They are your children. Dump her mama's boy and let her ruin him, and you go take care of your children. Leave this crazy family. Now let's read what people said about this messed up situation. One thing I've learned about mama's boys is that they will never, ever, ever choose you over their mom. Get out of this situation. It's better to be on your own than with someone like him. Not the idiot. Not the idiot. You chose Valerie in honor of your tragically killed parents and sister. How in holy hell does he think that is less important than commemorating his great-grandmother, whom he probably never knew? You're financially independent, so this should indeed be the end of your marriage. You don't want your children growing up thinking it's okay to be treated the way you're being treated. I'm afraid you're right, it's never going to change. This is a mess. The name aside, a partner who makes themselves unavailable at the end of the pregnancy is not a partner. I have given birth twice, and during my first birth I was alone, and I could never forgive this, ever. OP, I would feel betrayed because he knowingly left you in the time when you're most vulnerable, knowing that you're about to give birth, just to spite you. There would be no coming back from this. And yeah, if that happened to me, all names we had previously agreed upon would most likely go out of the window at that moment because I would be planning to divorce him anyways. And what would you guys do if you were OP? Do you know anyone like OP's husband? Or OP's mother-in-law? Leave your comments down below. And that's it for today, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. If so, go check the video that is appearing on the screen right now or click on one of our playlists that are in the description to watch more videos. Until next time.